Kansas State needs to move up 32 spots in the strength of schedule to catch UCLA for that second spot for the chance of the Fiesta Bowl. You have to look at Kansas State in their next 3 games. If they can win out and win their last 3 games against opponents that have a combined 24-5 record going into today, they will be standing at the end and be in the Fiesta Bowl if they're able to win those 3 games. But unfortunately, make sure they hear this. Unfortunately, I don't see them winning all 3 games. I agree with Tony. Tennessee against the winner of the Florida State game.
You know, we did some math, and I do agree with you. It's not just opinion. We spent last night on the phone with Jeff Sager, and Kansas State will have enough schedule strength to get up over UCLA if they can win out.
They can win out. They'll be there.
And the computer still says there's only a 13% chance of the top 3 teams going out unbeaten. That's
right.
what the computer says. Florida State and Gators, meanwhile, they're tuning up for that big game against overmatched teams today. Gators seniors try to close out unbeaten at home. Javon Curse going through senior day ceremony. He was a junior. Well, he's going to come out. They know that. The Noles trying to clinch a record 12th straight 10-win season. But Chris Wenke had surgery on Thursday on his neck. He will not be there. So that means from here on out, at least for now, the man is Marcus the Rooster Outson at quarterback.
For now. I talked with Mark Richt, their offensive coordinator, Florida State's offensive coordinator, on Thursday about their quarterback situation. He's very comfortable with Marcus Outson. He's knowledgeable. He knows the offense, knows the checks. People say he doesn't have the big arm. It doesn't matter when you're throwing the ball to Peter Warwick. But today, keep an eye on the sensational freshman, Jared Jones. He's 6'5", 240, runs a 4.7, has a great arm. He has everything you need except experience. And with the Gators coming up next week, look for Florida State to try to get 2 quarterbacks with at least some game experience before they got to take on the super freak Javon Curse and the boys.
And speaking of Peter Warwick is a former high school quarterback in the state of Florida, and the Noles have been using him as a shotgun quarterback just in case. Now, I know it doesn't mean anything now against Wake Forest, but remember, against the Gators a couple of weeks from now, that could be very important. Peter Warwick.
Absolutely.
He'll be out on the outside.
It's fortunate for Florida State. That game's going to be played at home with those quarterbacks trying to deal with the noise in the swamp. Plenty more coming up. College Game Day from Manhattan. We'll focus on Michael Bishop. 1 loss since high school. He knows he must be the man today. Al Wilson believes he's the man for Tennessee's defense against the Hogs. We'll talk about Ohio State. How's the mood in Columbus after the fall from #1? And Michigan, the team that took down Penn State, now tries to spoil the Rose Bowl dreams of Wisconsin. Come on back.
College Game Day is brought to you by 1010-220. Dial it and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents.
What are the hardest sports feats to accomplish? The Miami Dolphins' perfect season, the New York Yankees' 125 wins. How about something that's never been done for the 63rd consecutive year? It won't have to week.
You're right about that. It's been a long week in Columbus, Ohio. In fact, Coach John Cooper told me on Tuesday he wished they could play that day. Phone lines were very busy on the talk show of mine, wondering what will happen next.
4th down, and Jermaine takes it deep, throws Miller, intercepted. Hill's got it. Ronaldo Hill.
Here on Sports Radio 1460 The Fan, let's go back to the telephone calls. And next up, we'll visit with Andy in Worthington. Andy, welcome to Sports Radio 1460 The Fan.
You know, I was just about devastated Saturday. I could hardly sleep all night long, you know, one of those deals. And I was kind of questioning Cooper at the time, wondering if he really was the coach to do it. But, you know, thinking about this thing rationally, hey, this guy, what has he won 50 games in the last 5 years? We're in position 3 out of the last 4 years. What more for can you ask?
I'd rather be at a place where winning is important and you have a chance to win. I mean, there's some places, hey, your people are going to be satisfied losing 3, 4, 5 ball games a year. We've set the bar. We've raised the standards at Ohio State now, where if you lose 1 ball game, some people are disappointed.
Hey, if he loses to Michigan, loses his bowl game, hey, there's going to be a lot of people out there saying, hey, you were preseason #1 and you lost these games. This guy has to go. You got to take this guy out.
This is my serious radio face when I'm really listening. Some negative calls for Coach Cooper, but for the most part, people were very supportive this week. Don't expect Ohio State today to get real frustrated and mad and go up to Iowa City and take it out on the Hawkeyes. This team doesn't get mad. It's not their character. It's not their makeup. For Iowa, they're going to try to do what Michigan State did. Maximum protect, throw it up to the receivers and let them make the play. Ohio State will not play with fire today, but they will go solid performance and get back on track, get ready for the Michigan game and beat Iowa.
Well, Kirk, Michigan State challenged the Buckeyes' pass defense and won. The state quarterback, Bill Burke, threw the ball for 323 yards, 1 touchdown, and set up 5 field goals. If Iowa's going to win the ball game, they have to do the same thing. Forget about it. They can't throw well enough to beat Ohio State. But Michigan, yes, Michigan threw for 224 yards and 2 touchdowns and scored 27 points last week. Watch out, yo, Michigan.
One thing hasn't changed in Columbus for Cooper. You beat Michigan, you're a hero. You lose, you're a bum. That hasn't changed. No sympathy for the Buckeyes here in Manhattan.
On Campus is presented by Outback Steakhouse. For a legendary steak, fresh fish, or tender chicken, get the Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
Ricky Williams and his record run needs 204, but Texas needs a win in Lubbock. And we'll talk about a WAC showdown. That Falcon defense set to battle the Pokes up in Laramie. Game day for Manhattan. Coming right back.
Radio Shack presents.
In Laramie, 8-1 WAC rivals battle for the division title. Pokes, a close loss to Georgia away from a perfect season. Falcons scoring big.
One of the ways Air Force has been beating teams is creating turnovers. They have a +2 turnover margin per game. That means they get the ball to this man more often. Blaine Morgan is the trigger man for the Falcons' wishbone attack. Air Force beats Wyoming in a close one.
Tonight in Lubbock, the Red Raiders, losers of 3 straight to ranked teams by a total of 11 points, take their annual best shot at Texas. Tex, Ricky Williams, not 100% with an ankle, but he's going to try to go. The bigger story, the Longhorns, Ricky Williams, raring to go. A billboard above the practice field reminded him this week he needs 204 more yards to pass Tony Dorsett as the all-time 1A rusher. It would take, however, I think a great effort by a very inspired offensive line and a couple of long runs against the Red Raiders to get that record tonight. More likely it'll come than an emotional senior day against the Aggies.
As you said, Texas has won 5 in a row. Ricky Williams is ready to win the Heisman. Life is good in Austin. Poor old Texas Tech. They've lost 3 in a row. They've got nothing. Boy, but this is a perfect situation. It's going to be cold and windy and ugly in Lubbock, so it's perfect for an ambush. Texas Tech upsets Texas in beautiful downtown Lubbock.
Yeah. Ricky
Saturday
loves
night.
the bad weather. He can run on that stuff. Meanwhile, a Longhorn loss clinches a spot in the Big 12 championship game for Texas A&M. The Aggies have their own concerns. A tough Missouri bunch that represents the next challenge for this Kansas State team. Perhaps these are the next 2 Kansas State opponents in this game. Now, at quarterback, the suddenly assertive Brandon Stewart gets to reclaim the starting job thanks to an injury to Randy McCown's shoulder. Corby Jones and company trying to beat a top 10 team for the first time since '81. But that win and that Wrecking Crew defense looks ready, Kurt.
Well, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Something is going to have to give in this game. A&M's defense has not given up a touchdown in 10 quarters, and Missouri's offense right now is playing as well as it has all year thanks to a healthy quarterback in Corby Jones. Jones finally has recovered from a lingering foot injury. He had his first 100-yard game last week. But once you focus on stopping the option, Devin West comes right at you. He's 3rd in the nation in rushing. Jones and West combined for 90% of the Tigers' rushing offense. With 2 teams so evenly matched, I think it's going to come down to field position and turnovers. Keep an eye on this. The team that plays with a short field will win. That's why I like the opportunistic Tiger defense and Corby Jones to upset Texas A&M down at Kyle Field.
Good pick. Not so fast, Aggie style.
Hey, tradition here at Texas A&M.
Well, look at that.
Come on, big
Well,
fella.
I
Take it
couldn't
easy.
quite do it. I mean, we get enough cards and letters right now. Texas A&M wins this football game. They win it because Texas A&M is sensational on defense. They're number 3 in the nation. They win it because it's played in College Station. And last but not least, Texas A&M has lost only 1 game. That's the Florida State. And Missouri is not Florida State, so I go with Texas A&M to beat Missouri.
Yeah, I think defense is the order of the day. I would not count on a lot of spit swapping down there in Aggie land. 2 good defenses. Coming up, we'll talk about, is there another game in the Big 12? I think so. Kansas State and Nebraska. Michael Bishop, can he get it done today? Ron Dane and Wisconsin, they can smell the roses, but Michigan is standing in the way. A lot more from Kansas State coming up.